Welcome to this video. Today, we'll dive into the fascinating concept of salt and its spiritual significance, particularly in the Quran, as well as its place in modern spiritual practices around the world. We often think of salt as just an everyday seasoning. But could it be much more than that? Does salt hold spiritual power, or is it simply a tool for cooking? In various cultures, salt is seen as a symbol of purification, protection, and even a tool for spiritual healing. In Islam, the idea of purification is key to spiritual growth. But does salt play a hidden role in this process? Stay with us as we uncover the deeper meaning of salt and its potential as a spiritual weapon, both in our faith and our lives. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you think salt has spiritual significance? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's get the conversation started. Salt's role in spiritual practices. Throughout history, salt has been a powerful symbol of purification, protection, and blessing. Many cultures across the globe have used salt in rituals, believing it wards off evil, shields homes, and purifies spaces. In some traditions, salt is sprinkled at thresholds, on doorways, or placed in corners to cleanse negative energies and invite positive spiritual forces. But what does the Quran say about salt? The concept of purification is central to spiritual growth in Islam, both physically and spiritually. In Surah Al-Baqarah 2222, Allah speaks about purification as an essential part of achieving closeness to Him. While salt isn't directly mentioned, purification in all forms is key. Could salt, then, be seen as an unspoken tool for this process? Let's reflect on that. For example, in modern-day communities in the Middle East, salt is used in food purification before spiritual gatherings. It's also common for families to use salt during protective rituals, especially when a loved one is ill. They believe it helps cleanse negative energy, creating a space where positive healing can occur. The Quranic perspective on purification. The Quran doesn't specifically mention salt as a spiritual tool, but the concept of purification is central to the teachings of Islam. In Surah Al-Ma'idah 5:6, Allah provides guidance on maintaining ritual purity, emphasizing the importance of physical and spiritual cleanliness. While salt isn't directly referenced, the idea of purification is clear. Ritual purity, which includes cleansing before prayer and fasting, is a means to ensure that one is spiritually prepared to engage with Allah. So could salt be an unspoken symbol of purification, just as it's used to cleanse in worldly practices? Could it represent an unseen force of spiritual cleansing in our lives, similar to its role in physical purification rituals? In ancient times, salt was used to purify before entering sacred spaces or during important ceremonies. It was believed to drive away evil spirits and ensure purity of mind and body. Today, we see a modern example of this in many Muslim homes during Ramadan. Families often use salt in their kitchens or place it near their prayer areas, believing it purifies both the body and the soul as they prepare for fasting and prayer, cleansing themselves spiritually before engaging in worship. Salt in Islamic rituals, a subtle weapon. In various Islamic traditions, salt plays a role in the ritual cleansing process, often used before prayer or after certain impure activities. While it's not always explicitly linked to spiritual warfare, its cleansing and protective qualities are central to its symbolism in Islam. Salt, when used in a spiritual context, can be seen as a defense against harmful energies, acting as a subtle spiritual weapon that purifies both the body and the soul before one stands in worship before Allah. The act of purification in Islam is deeply tied to both physical and spiritual readiness, allowing the believer to be in a state of purity when communicating with Allah. Consider, for example, an Islamic community that practices heightened prayer during times of hardship or challenge. In these periods, families may use salt within their homes, placing it in certain areas to ward off negative energy and invite blessings. During times of difficulty, they believe salt acts as a protective force, cleansing their environment of harmful influences and opening up space for divine blessings to flow. This practice reflects the deeper belief that salt, as a purifier, not only cleanses the physical space, but also creates an atmosphere conducive to spiritual growth. The symbolism of salt across cultures. Salt isn't just important in Islam. Many cultures around the world view it as a sacred element. In Christianity, salt symbolizes purity and the covenant between God and his people, representing the unbreakable bond of faith. Similarly, in Hinduism, salt is used in rituals to purify and protect spaces, driving away negative energies and creating an atmosphere conducive to positive spiritual growth. These cross-cultural beliefs point to a deeper, universal connection. Salt is more than a simple mineral. It serves as a powerful symbol of spiritual purity, protection, and the preservation of life. This connection goes beyond religious boundaries and stretches into our everyday lives. It makes us reflect on the broader meaning of salt as a spiritual purifier, transcending rituals and entering our personal practices. What's the deeper significance of salt in our lives today? Do we still use it in any form of spiritual practice or as a symbol of protection? For instance, there's a story from a community in the Middle East where a group of Muslims places salt on their thresholds and doorways during challenging times. They believe it shields their family from the evil eye and negative energies. Is this practice a form of spiritual defense, using salt as a weapon to protect their loved ones? What do you think? I'd love to hear your perspectives in the comments below. Real-life example of salt's spiritual power. Let's look at a real-life example. In a small village in Syria, there is a deeply rooted tradition where families place salt in the corners of their homes as a protective measure against bad omens and evil forces. This practice is particularly common during times of illness or distress. When a child falls ill, it's not unusual for the family to pray over salt and use it as part of their healing rituals. The belief is that salt, with its purifying properties, helps to cleanse the environment and restore balance to the home, driving away negativity and inviting blessings. This practice reflects a profound human desire for safety, protection, and spiritual well-being. It also demonstrates how salt is not just a physical substance, but a bridge between the material and spiritual realms. The belief in its ability to purify and protect continues to thrive in modern times, showing that even today, many people view salt as more than just a simple ingredient. It serves as a powerful symbol of faith, connection, and healing. Have you ever used salt in a similar way? Or do you know someone who has? I'd love for you to reflect on this and share your thoughts in the comments below. The hidden truth: salt as a spiritual weapon. As we wrap up, we begin to see that salt may not just serve as a physical element of purification, but also as a powerful spiritual weapon. By using salt in ritual practices, individuals perform a symbolic act of defense and cleansing. It serves as a reminder that our bodies, minds, and spirits need continual purification to stay aligned with our faith. The hidden truth about salt is not just in its physical properties, but in how it connects the believer to their spiritual essence and creator. Take, for example, a contemporary Muslim woman who shared in a blog how she uses salt in her spiritual practices during times of distress. She believes that by placing salt in certain spaces and praying over it, she can ward off negative thoughts and energies, creating a form of inner spiritual defense. This is an example of how salt can be seen as a shield for the soul. What do you think? Could salt be more than just a substance in your life? Reflect on this and share your thoughts in the comments below. Conclusion and call to action. Now that we've explored salt's potential as a spiritual weapon, what do you think? Do you believe salt holds power beyond its physical uses? Have you had any experiences where salt played a spiritually significant role in your life? I'd love to hear your thoughts and personal stories. Please share them in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insightful discussions on spirituality and hidden truths. Let's keep the conversation going about the unseen powers that shape our lives. Until next time, may you find peace, purification, and blessings in your journey.